All right. Guys, give me 30 seconds. Yes. Oh, man. Woo. It's Friday night. I get to talk football, my favorite thing in the world. Just some quick announcements. I just signed up for YouTube TV. I was working on the DVR right before the show, and I'm DVRing all the preseason games. I see Funk's in the house. Funk, I have the Falcons Lions preseason game on DVR. I'm going to watch that. Almost right after. There's like a few things I got to do right after the show, but I am going to watch that tonight. So I was getting the DVR all set up. YouTube TV's really cool, but there's a lot of glitches with it. But this year they offered a sports package, pay a yearly fee, and it's going to work out perfect. So I'm going to keep it between now and the draft. So you see your boy Watson apologize. Funk, I'm glad to see you here, man. I'm actually really glad you're here because I'm hoping you give me some highlights. To tell you the truth, with the Lions-Falcons game, I'm actually more excited to see the Falcons because I want to see what Raymond. Oh man, I'm 2 minutes into the show, already had a brain freeze here. I want to see what their quarterback looks like. I also want to see their wide receiver, the first round pick out of USC. God, brain freeze on names, and I'm 2 minutes into the show. Okay, you see your boy Watson apologized. My guess, and I'm going to guess on this, I really think that this is part of the Browns organization stepping in and saying, look, we're going to do some control because we want you to stay at 6 games, not a whole season. So I kind of feel like that's it. I think that if it was up to him, he probably would have stayed on the offensive, but I'm speculating. So now the Keys, by the way, Keys, I can't wait for tomorrow night. Really looking forward to that. Death taxes, national media picking the Chargers to win the AFC West, and Dan doing I am jacked up. I have an energy drink here, and I am jacked up. Me and Keys are going to do a video tomorrow night. So very, very excited about that. Also, if you are up midnight Central Time on Thursday night, check out Back Talk, the Back Talk boys, or Back Talk brothers. They have a really cool show. It's mostly cheap stuff, but I got to just pop on briefly. I was finishing up my Steelers video. I'm a little embarrassed to admit this, but I should have included their offensive line with things I didn't like. The third point I did was corners, which I think is a big red flag. I should mention their offensive line. Man, the defense has literally been a 2 linebacker system no matter what. That's interesting. That's really interesting. I'm really glad you brought that up. I'm actually really excited about that. And I'll tell you why here in just a bit. I don't care if you have one ass cheek and 3 toes. I'm watching. All right, Denver Gator, welcome, brother. You know, I'm kind of glad you're here too. Kind of glad you're here too. I have some interesting things because I want to talk about Roquan Smith and where he could end up. I have 3 teams I like. Rodriguez was balling, and so did Hutch. One Fried 40. I'm glad you're here today. I signed up for YouTube TV. I'm holding off the signing up for HBO because I have Plex, and they haven't released any of the Hard Knocks episodes. Apparently, there is a clip of Hutchinson singing Billie Jean And okay, so every NFL team does a rookie show, and the one the Bengals did in, I think it was 2016, was the best. Supposedly the Lions did the best rookie show in the history of Hard Knocks. I can't wait to see it. But there's a clip apparently of Hutchinson singing Billie Jean, and depending on who you are, it's either really awesome or god awful. There is a Lions player like doing this, so. And Ritter looks wow. Oh wow, because that's another thing is that I want to talk about Malik and is him starting the preseason game significant? That's kind of what I want to talk about, because I think it is. I want to get your opinion. Rodriguez looks solid. Hutch did too. I can see people destroying Davis for being pushed by Board into a QB. All right, fair enough. That Rodriguez, I'll be honest, I'm not super. God, if that ends up being your starting inside linebacker week one, I'd almost be disappointed, even though I did like him out of Oklahoma State. I could see him being a Dan Campbell type of guy, but I'm glad you brought that up, though. I'm very glad you brought that up. Denver watched the Hard Knocks episode. Oh, okay. All right. That's okay. Hamilton kind of struggled. Yeah, there's clips of him struggling. So, but I'm going to check out all the games. I just signed up for it. The way it's set up is that I can record everything. You click a library button and it records everything. So, but yeah, I'm checking it out, man. Oh man, Key's giving some love out to people, man. Yeah. I'm super geeked out about tomorrow. I have a busy day Saturday. and the Chiefs play tomorrow, which I'm excited. So. Hutch got the whole room into it. Okay, the clip I saw, it looked like it's like, ugh. And I'll never forget. I just had another name freeze. I literally said this out loud less than an hour ago, and I'm completely drawing a blank. Okay, now I remember. Okay. Jeremy Shockey, I'll never forget, he goes to the Giants as a rookie, and they told him, hey, rookies sing their theme song, and he's like, I'm not doing that. And he gets in a fight with one of the players because, it's like, they get in a fight. So first preseason game, he catches the pass, runs right over a safety, and the guy he got in a fight with, runs out on the field, chest bumps him, and it really energized the team. And I'm always wondering, do I want a rookie who comes in and says, hey, I'm my guy? Or do I want somebody like Hutch who's like, you know what, I'm going to go along to get along? And I always wonder, what type of player is better. But I'll never forget when Shockey arrived and he's just like, screw you guys, and he really added something to that team. So when I saw that clip, I'm like, okay, well, he's not that type of guy. Let's see what he does. But I saw one clip where the Lions player's doing this, and yeah, I saw the same clip. We saw the same clip, and it didn't look good, man. It didn't look good, but we'll have to see. Malik made 2 good throws, so overall he didn't play well. Because I'm kind of curious if the key is with the Titans, if they're just going to say, hey, look, we got Derrick Henry, we got rid of our number 1 receiver. We have a good defense. Let's just put in a guy and just try to make something happen. Or are you just going to roll out Tannehill and say, look, just be a ball manager, run a little bit, and we won't ask you to do too much. Because I'll be honest, I think Willis's upside may be higher than Tannehill's, but the floor is so much lower. So it'll be interesting. Denver, we're going to circle around you like Vulture and made all right, apparently I need to watch this Hard Knocks, man. Broncos don't have draft capital for Smith. Hutch killed it with Billie Jean. Awesome. Okay, so it is good. Broncos don't have draft capital for Smith. That's not the team who I was thinking of. But the Broncos are involved. the Broncos was involved. All right, so no idea what clip you watched. Hutch entertained the whole team. Not a great singer, but awesome performance. Total hype man effect. All right. So I guess I do need to see this. If Plex doesn't come out soon, I'll bite the bullet and I'll pay for HBO. But I'm gonna do it late so I can watch all of them together, and maybe I can. You know what? I already did that with Game of Thrones, so I probably have to pay for a month. So. It was off key, but in tune. If that makes no, I get it. I am my mom. My mom is a phenomenal singer. I cannot sing to save my life. The only time I ever sound good is if I have the radio turned up as loud as possible, and then I sing along. So like one day I'm singing along, I'm like, yeah, I sound really good, and I start turning down volume. I'm like, oh my god, like it's bad when you're singing by yourself and it sounds bad. Yeah, I'm a terrible singer. So it's like a 2-minute part on Hold Knox's voice ain't great. That'd be kind of cool. I'm gonna have to check it out. That's exactly. Oh God, Keys. Oh geez. I'm looking forward to our video tomorrow night. Really, really excited about that. Blau is playing better than Boyle. That's interesting. That's interesting. That's kind of an interesting battle. So Jimmy's in the house. What's up, man? Got Lions preseason in the background. How's it going? Yeah, I got it on DVR. I can't wait to check it out. I want to check out Ritter and the receiver from USC. I can't believe I forgot his name. But yeah, I want to check those guys out. And apparently I need to check out these Lions linebackers, and I want to talk about that in a little bit. Starters looked great on the first drive. Okay. I'm gonna have to pay attention to that. A little shout out to Jimmy there. I can sing like Garth Brooks songs. Basically, I don't have range or even sound. It's all that good. My mom's a phenomenal singer. Amazing. Don't tell my sister she can't sing either. She's better than me, which is like I think a dead cat. It's like I'm like right there with like a dead screeching cat. I am terrible. Like my the way my radio in my car is. I don't even listen to music, and I don't think I've ever listened to music. I'll put on like songs from YouTube on my phone once in a blue moon in my apartment, but I don't listen to music in my apartment. In my car, I listen to music, and so it goes 0 to 60. If it's anything below like the 52 on 60, if it's anything below that, I sound horrible. Like it has to be earth shattering. Like if I pull up somebody's like has to hear my car from 20 feet away. Like that's the only time I sound good. Don't even get me started. One Pride 40 sings Carrie Underwood. Wow, man. I got Funk singing Garth Brooks and One Pride singing Carrie Underwood. That's really amazing. That's really amazing. All right, let me jump into Roquan Smith because there's 3 teams that I kind of think would make interesting trade partners, and I've seen some rumors with different things, but the team that makes a lot of sense is the Seattle Seahawks, and because they do have that extra trade capital from the Russell Wilson trade. Part of the coaching staff from Chicago is also in Seattle, and Seattle's a team that likes trading for players. So I think that makes a lot of sense. That's kind of where I'm looking at. Is probably potential spot number 1. So let me see here. Oh man, we got some great comments today, man. Let me have some great comments. I've said since MCDC opening press conference he was going to get hype. He was going to get guys hyped to run through walls. He's a quote metaphor machine, even though he mixes them up. That's pretty awesome. Let me my team one of them. Jesus Christ. Don't lie, Dan. You know you got to be the Katy Perry catalog memorized, and it's on your go in the shower. I've never listened to Katy Perry in the shower. That's actually not bad. I've listened to Katy Perry several times in my car, though. I have listened to Katy Perry in my car several times. Yes, I will admit that. In my shower, never. I'm pretty sure never. I hardly ever. You know what I do in the shower though is that I if I'm taking a bath, I take my phone and I've done this in the past and I'll do it again this year. Is I'll go through mock drafts. I've literally gone through hundreds of mock drafts in my bathtub. That's not a lie. That's not a lie. Zach Wilson limps off the field. Ooh, oh boy. Oh boy. Yeah, already. 15 minutes in, Funk. Smith, Seahawks, Ravens, or Rams are my top three. Okay. I don't have anyone. I have Seahawks. The other two are not even close. Ravens and Rams. No, the Rams signed the guy from the Seahawks this offseason. Big time contract. I think it was Malcolm Smith. Is that right? God, I'm really, you know what? I've always been bad with names, but today I am really, really off. This is bad, even by my standards. I'm embarrassed. I shouldn't even be Bobby Wagner. Why am I getting the names? I have Malcolm Smith. Jesus Christ. I don't have the Ravens either. I better bring up the depth chart because I've been getting names wrong so much. Jesus Christ. The kid out LSU and Ohio State. And I'm drawing a complete blank on names. I'm going to bring up the depth chart. I'm embarrassed to do this. Patrick Queen, Josh Bynes. That's it. Actually, I'm surprised Bynes is starting. It should be Malik Harrison. All right. Oh, that's interesting. But no, let me give you my other two teams. Let me give you my other two teams. The second team, and I also think this makes a ton of sense because you have extra draft capital, is the Houston Texans. Lovie Smith in that Tampa 2 defense. By NFL standards, it's a real easy, fast to learn defense. You put Roquan Smith in that Tampa 2 defense under Lovie Smith. I think it really changes the dynamic of their front seven because they got Christian Kirksey, who's a solid player. Roquan Smith is just on a different level. Now, Matt Eberflus coached. By the way, I'm going to get this wrong several times, but he wants to be called Shaquille Leonard instead of Darius Leonard. I'll probably call him Darius Leonard quite often, but Matt Eberflus, I'm assuming, wants Roquan Smith to do the same thing that Darius Leonard, Shaquille Leonard. He wants to be called Shaquille Leonard. I'll call him Shaquille Leonard. So anyway, he wants him to do, I'm assuming, the same thing. They have similar skill sets. And I think it was a key part of him taking that Bears job was knowing that, hey, I got somebody who's a top 5 inside linebacker to play in my defense. I don't know what you do if you take him out of that situation. So it's a difficult thing. And if you do take him away from the Bears, there's several people in the gambling community that one guy in particular put down 1,000. I think it was 1,000 on the Bears under 7. And there's a lot of people in the gambling community that like under 7 wins for the Bears this year. I'm not one of them just because you never know what a first-time head coach is going to do in Chicago. But if Roquan Smith ends up being traded, I'm really going to regret not putting action because that line's just going to drop. Right now it's 6.5 across the board. So, but I thought the Houston Texans, because you have extra draft capital and he'll come right into that organization. And I mean, seriously, that just adds something to that team, a team I think is really up and coming. So there's one other team. There's one other team I like here. We don't need no. Are you sure you don't like Katie? I wouldn't take. Was it when she first came out? And is it 2010? Then yeah, today like the short blonde hair and no, but back in the day, you know, when she was doing videos with Snoop Dogg in the nude, like then yes, so. Becton going down may have something to do it. Well, they went ahead and signed Dwayne Brown, which is, I think, a great signing. It's a damn shame because Becton's a guy I was kind of pulling for. I was seeing a lot of him on social media where he lost a lot of weight and looked like he was I'm really excited about being in this style of offense. And he goes down with an injury. He'll probably have to go to another team in 2023. Seriously, there may be a team that's like, hey, we'll roll the dice, throw you a 6th-round draft pick. So Becton's got lots of upside, though. Kind of real shame. Dwayne Brown, this might be a good fit for the Jets. Someone stop him from telling us the drugs are really messing with Dan's memory. I did have a few brain freezes early on in the show. Hopefully I'm done with that. It's not. Yeah, I'm really embarrassed about that. Dan, go get my energy drink's almost done, so must be the Aaron Rodgers. One ride 40, yes. The answer is yes. It is the Detroit Lions. I think it would be a great fit. However, and I know I'm going to get some backlash here. And I also know, by the way, yes, Denver Gator, I'm glad you caught it. Yes. It's not Harlem Nights. It's Coming to America. It's Coming to America. Same actors, different movie. It's Coming to America. I'm glad you caught it. Just you got the wrong movie. So the answer is the Lions. Okay. Now here's where you guys are going to hate this. Okay. And actually, let me read this first. Smith wants to reset the market. 10% of the cap on off-ball linebacker is a move a team can make when they are literally a player away. And that's kind of what he wants. Darius or Shaquille, let's go Shaquille, signed a 5-year, $90 million deal. Now, keep in mind, he was a 2nd-round draft pick, so he was on a 4-year deal, made a little less than Roquan Smith, who's on that 5-year deal. He's going to make 9.7 this year. So that's kind of why I like him in Seattle, because I could see Seattle saying, hey, we're going to add Smith, and we're ready to compete in the NFC. Whether that's realistic or not, it's up to debate, but they do have some nice pieces in play. They still don't have they don't have the quarterback settled. It sounds like they're going to go with Geno Smith, but with Houston, I really like it because you have the draft capital, and he really solidifies an important part of that Tampa 2 defense. Here's why I like it for Detroit. Last year, this front 7 was immensely slow, and under Patricia, he for some reason he wanted a multifaceted, complex but slow. I don't think his intention was slow, but that's what he ended up having. They were bigger, they were physical, they were multidimensional, but there was no speed. And even though Hutchinson's not a A+ athlete, he adds a lot of athleticism to that front 7. That's also something Pascal adds a little bit too as well. And then also you have was it Uberiche? You know what? I'm just going to look it up because I've been getting so many names wrong. I'm going to say Uberiche. You know who I'm talking about, the kid out of Washington. Ozarike. That's it. Okay. So if you add Roquan Smith into that linebacking core, into that front 7, you changed with Hutchinson, and then with Pascal, you add, and keep in mind Ozarike is really your only draft pick that really was kind of a dud. You go from having one of the slower, more unathletic front 7s to one of the faster, more athletic front 7s. This would be an awesome change, and you do have draft capital. Now, it's very, very, very rare that a team trades in the division, okay? This is the part that you're going to hate, and you're going to hate me for saying this. So you can't trade draft picks completely for a player in the division. You have to get a player in return, all right? You got to get a player in return. The player that I would circle would be Penei Sewell. So here's what you would have to do if you're going to get Roquan Smith. You'd have to give up Penei Sewell and a 2nd-round pick. Now, you have 2 first-round picks next year. Now, if you use both of them, trade up for a quarterback, you really got to nail that 3rd-round pick, and you got to hope that that's what you need. Do you have enough faith in your defensive coordinator? Okay, and here's the catch. Here's the catch. What do you do at the right tackle position? All right, here's the catch. What do you do at the right tackle position? Well, when John Dorsey was in Kansas City, he arrived in 2013. He used the first overall pick on Eric Fisher, who played left tackle for a long time in the NFL. He is a free agent. Now he plays left tackle, but he started his NFL career on the right side. For 2022, Eric Fisher would be a perfect replacement at right tackle. Now you would have to overpay him. He would not come cheap. All right. He would not come cheap, but can you pay him? Yeah, the answer is yes. You could make it work. Getting rid of Penei Sewell. Don't get me wrong. Would Eric Fisher be the long-term solution on the right or left side? Because he can play left tackle. No. Would it work for 2022? Sure. And to be honest, you're really not getting that much of a drop-off. You're really not. You're really not, just for that one season. But that's what you would have to do if you're going to get Roquan Smith from the Bears. I really think that you would have to give up a young, super talented player like Sewell. And you'd have to give up a second-round pick. If you believe in your defensive coordinator, you believe in your head coach, I would do this because you instantly transform the weakness of your team into a strength. You sign Eric Fisher to play right tackle, and you could legitimately talk about getting a wild card. I mean, you're still not there at Green Bay, but you now can legitimately talk wild card. So, yeah, brain freezes. Our defense looks a lot better. It's only preseason, but I'm anxious to see what they look like against Atlanta. I really am. Cowboys in Denver joint practice. Cowboys live streamed entire practice. By the end, Boys fans were calling radio station, "The sky has fallen." Broncos punked them pretty hard. Alex would love it. I would actually love to see that, man. I should have looked at that myself. And I kind of think that the Broncos defense could be really, really, really. Yeah. But yeah, I could see that. I could see it. I think the Cowboys are a team that's in some trouble. If you watch my video on Philly, I announced that I'd like Philly to win the East. I've been saying that for a while. I don't blame you, and I really like I said, you would have to get a player. So I think it would be Sewell in a second is what you're doing. They sure did add some. Yeah, well, I mean, one thing about Rodriguez is that he can move. He's just undersized, and I'm kind of floored that he would be the guy that would start. But I mean, if he gets 6th-round pick as your starter, if he plays good, that's a different story. I mean, that's a great move. So Levi and Aleem. Well, I'll tell you what, I really like McNeil last year. Ozarike disappointed, but McNeil, I think he was a starter since day one, and he's a guy that I really thought would fit into a 4-3 defense better. But yeah, that makes so much sense. Why didn't I think of that? Levi O. Why didn't I think of that? Yeah, I know, but the reason why I say that is because you have a free agent starting caliber left tackle on the market that John Dorsey has a very good relationship with. And he wouldn't come cheap. Jason Peters cost $10 million, and he was on a fishing boat, and he was 39. So, but the thing is that if you make a move like this, you can replace Sewell. You could easily replace Sewell. You call Eric Fisher, bring him in. There's talks. I looked this up right before I came on, and it looks like Fisher may be signing with Pittsburgh soon. So if you do this move, you'd have to sign Fisher. And here's the deal: Fisher for 2022, there's really not a drop off. Well, there is maybe a little bit, but I mean, long term, because I see Sewell as a guy who could be like a 10, 12-year starter with Pro Bowl potential. With Fisher, you got a guy who went to a Pro Bowl on the left side. You're moving him over to the right side. For this year, there's almost no drop off, maybe even an improvement, especially in pass coverage. But the future, you'd have to find a replacement in 2023, most likely. but you give a one year deal. Eric Fisher, you sign him, you put Roquan Smith on that front seven. You're now a legitimate wild card team. This is where I knew you wouldn't like it. No, you would have to give Sewell and a second round pick for Smith if you wanted Smith. And the reason why Smith's a legitimate top 5 inside linebacker, Sewell's not a top 5 right tackle. And even if Sewell was a top 5 right tackle, you'd still have to trade up. But yeah, I get it. But no, you'd have to give Sewell in a second. But remember when I was talking about Stafford? No way you get a number 1 for Stafford. So I mean, what do I know? Wagner, Roquan, Donald, Ramsey, come on. You got a good point, man. I mean, I could see, you know what, maybe you got me coming around, but I'm going to bring up the Rams depth chart here because who's opposite Bobby Wagner? Wow. Okay, so they got a guy named Ernest Jones. I don't even know who this is. Oh, he was a rookie last year I remember him now. Seriously, that's actually not a bad idea, Denver Gator. I didn't consider it, but, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, the Rams have been doing that, and the Rams love giving away draft picks. Yeah, please do, please do. I don't think so. The Bears front office is horrible. Let me tell you here's what I think is going to happen. I think he's going to stay. I think something will work out. I think he stays. He may move in the offseason, but I think he stays this year. But if he does go, Seattle's number 1. I think the Houston Texans would make a lot of sense, but I've seen nothing about that trade. And then I would like to see him go to Detroit, mainly because the Bears offensive line has some problems and you got a young, talented right tackle. So that's the reason why I think that trade makes a lot of sense for both teams. So, by the way, that joint practice clearly showed Parsons is a free. Yeah. The athletic talent's crazy. I'm just not sure. I'm kind of curious how the Cowboys use them. I know last year what they did is like part-time pass rusher, part-time linebacker. They tried to make the game simple for him and just go ball, see ball, get ball. And are they going to do that this year, or are they going to try to add to what his responsibilities are? And that's something I'm kind of curious what the Cowboys are going to do. Blau actually looking decent, and Funches is trying to make this go. I completely forgot about Funches. Is he playing tight end or is he playing receiver? That's kind of curious. A generational tackle. It's only 21 still passed. Is he a generational tackle? Is he? I hate to tell you this. He's not. The reason why is he playing right side. That's not a generational tackle. That's a Pro Bowl, potential Pro Bowler. But that's not a generational guy. This isn't. Penei Sewell's not Orlando Pace coming out of college, and if he was, then he'd be on the left side. So that's not accurate at all. Dan, that's literally a horrible trade. Horrible. It's really not. And I just explained it. Here's why it makes sense. You sign Eric Fisher, boom. Your play at offensive line doesn't drop off at all. And your front seven, your weakness becomes your strength. Roquan Smith's that good. That's the thing. And that if you're thinking about starting a 6th round pick, you need a guy like this. And he's a guy, I think that's a Campbell type of guy. I know you guys really, really, really liked Penei Sewell, and I get it, but I mean he's not. This is just not a true statement. One pride. If he was, he'd be the left tackle. So, agreed, Funk. I'd call for Brad's head. Off-ball linebackers aren't that valuable, unlike left tackles, which he doesn't play. Left tackle, not right tackle. That's something you got to think about. I know. I expected that. I'd wait for Jacoby Windman next year. So yeah. Mitch Schwartz played right tackle. Eric Fisher played right tackle his first year, I think first 2 years here, and then they signed Mitchell Schwartz. So, but yeah, Keys likes to just be argumentative. Dan, the reason why it makes sense to me is because I'm not a fan of either teams. It's a logical thing, and all right, something weird happened outside. It's a logical move. It really is a logical move. It really does make a lot of sense. There's right tackles in the free agent market that you could plug and play. I just named one. But if you're thinking about starting a 6th round pick, why not get a top 5? Like a guy that instantly changes your defense. Your defense, the weakness of your team becomes a strength. And in the past, when teams have made moves like this, it changes things. Like this instantly makes the Lions a wild card team. That's what you guys, aren't really understanding. So honestly, you could give them a 3rd and Cephas, and no. You're really no. I get it because the Bears organization's done some bad things, but yeah. To be fair trades don't make sense to fans very often. No, they do not. No, they do not. But it would be the trade that makes most sense. But keep in mind, I still think that Seattle would be the number 1 trade partner, and even though there's been no talks of Smith going to Houston, that makes a lot of sense to me because you put him in that Tampa 2 defense that you really need a linebacker like that. And I also think that you could, the Houston Texans would be able to afford that much money. So, man, lay off the credit. Hey, I wasn't the one talking about Lions winning 10 games last year. So I'm just telling you what I see, man. If you don't want to go to the playoffs this year, I understand. If you don't want Roquan Smith, I understand. But teams don't trade in the division, and if you do trade in the division, I think you're going to want a player in return. And the Bears really could use some help on the offensive line. So to me, it makes sense. But I'm not a fan of either team, so. But I get it as a fan of the team. I absolutely hate to give up a good young player a second and have to play a player market. It would be a tough one. I actually thought about the Saints. They got Demario Davis. I just did my Saints video. Demario Davis turns 34 in January, and like Demario Davis, I don't think people realize what damn fly in here. I don't think people realize how good of a player Demario Davis is. So that I was thinking that they got I know it's Warner. I'm drawing a blank on his first name. He's a 3rd round pick from last year or 2020. He's the other linebacker. But if you want to move from Davis, I think that the coaching staff really loves Demario Davis. I think if he stays in Chicago, I could see him going to the Saints next year, but the Saints don't have a 1st round draft pick. So what you would have to do would get a little creative. Baltimore has Patrick Queen, who they love. And I just did it on ESPN. Malik Willis they drafted Patrick Queen in the 1st round. They drafted Malik Willis out of Ohio State in the 3rd round. I thought he was the guy who's going to start. They have somebody else. You would have to just write Willis off, who I thought was pretty damn good player. But the Lions currently don't have the cap, so they would have to do a lot of things because they would have to eat a chunk of Sewell's deal next year. The Lions would have less than $20 million to make it fit. That's another situation that I'm thinking of. Now, keep in mind, I'm also thinking that you're going to move on from Goff after the season's over, so you're going to have a large part of the cap relief, and it would take some creativity with the coaching staff. But I'm just saying, if you put him on the Lions team, you have I think a wild card contender, and that's kind of like what I'm thinking of. If I'm Detroit, you're a Lions fan. Let me ask you this here: you have to give up a lot. and it's going to be tough, but you can get to the playoffs this year. Would you do it? And that's kind of the way I'm looking at this trade. Is I see a player that makes you into a wild card contender this year. You went from a 3-win team that a lot of people, I didn't personally, but a lot of people thought was going to go winless. I kept on saying the Lions are going to win a game. Lions are going to win a game. But you go from a 3-win team to a wild card team. Roquan Smith does that. That's why I like it. But I think it makes a lot more sense in Seattle, and I think Houston. It also makes a lot of sense. If you're going to trade it in the division, I think that the only way the Bears would do it is for a player. And that's why, and I think that offensive line would be the issue and would be the spot. Now, if they would want to do it for draft picks, which I would not recommend at all, but the Bears have done some questionable things before, so maybe they would give up, a first and a second, or 2 1s or something like that. But keep in mind, I think the Detroit Lions really want those first two first-round picks next year, because I think that they're going to have to trade up unless you win 3 games again, because they want to draft a quarterback. And I think that's the Lions' plan, that in 2023, we're drafting a quarterback and we'll probably have to trade up in the first round. So that's why you want to keep both first-round picks. So he's a good player. He's not a generational tackle. You're wrong about that. He's got potential to be a Pro Bowl right tackle, but if he's a generational tackle, he's playing on the left side, not the right side. So I'm not the guy that wants to get there this year just to pay it for the future. No, I get that. But I mean, this is one of the top 5 inside linebackers in football, and he's just 4 years into the league. This is a guy that could be a stud for the next 10 years. You don't have one though. You got some guys. You don't have anybody. I think offensive line would be a spot if you're the Lions. What would you give up? Amon-Ra St. Brown and a 1. They don't need a tight end. Let me ask you this here. Would you give up DeAndre Swift in the first? Because when I look at the Bears, I'm looking at this offensive line just being, this is not good. I'm using ESPN, which I like our lads better, but when I do my videos, I use ESPN and our lads, but I'm looking at the Bears. Riley Reif, that can't be right. Okay, so they got Riley Reif as the left tackle, Tevon Jenkins as the right tackle. Most people cost the first for Smith. You think Sewell in the second is equal to a 1? Come on, Dan. I actually think that a fair trade would be a third. But if you're the Bears, that's what you'd probably fire off with. And if I'm the Lions, I probably try to counter with a third or a fourth. But honestly, a second in Sewell to me makes a lot of sense. And the reason why I say that is because I think adding Roquan Smith to the Lions front 7, it makes you a wild card team. Sewell going to the Bears doesn't put them in the playoffs. So, but yeah. Do I think it's fair? No, I think honestly, if it was really fair, it'd probably be a third or a fourth, but that's kind of what I think that would need to get done. Now, keep in mind, I know Seattle's a team. Denver Gator has a really good point with the Rams, but there's a market, so you would have to give a lot. And trades within the division really don't happen very often. So that's why. Do I think it's fair? Not really. I think like a third or a fourth would be fair. But if you're going to trade in the division, and if you're the Lions and you make this happen, you would have to overpay a little bit. Keep in mind, you're doing this because you have 2 number 1s next year. So that's kind of the reason why I'm putting that together is that, hey, we'll overpay. We're going to get a guy who can transform our defense, take us to the playoffs this year, be a cornerstone for the future. Use our 2 number ones on a quarterback in 2023, and about to get creative from there. But yeah, I get why. I get why you guys don't like it. And I preface that by saying that this is the trade that makes sense to me, but you guys aren't going to like it. Fangio gushed over Roquan. What about going to the Chargers under Staley? Fangio discipline. I think he coached him in Chicago. I would hate that. It seems plausible with their offseason. You know what? I'm a little embarrassed to admit this. I didn't know Fangio was in LA. I know that the defensive coordinator for Chicago, Sean Dessie, he's now in Seattle. Denver's defensive coordinator is in Minnesota. I was actually thinking Minnesota would be a great fit, but they signed the guy from Arizona, so they got Hendricks, and I'm drawing a blank on his name, so that's why I ruled out Minnesota. So the Chargers, would they be interested in doing something like this? Probably. I didn't know Fangio went to LA. I didn't know that, and I'm a little embarrassed to admit that, but that would actually make a lot of sense because what they did is they drafted the guy out of Oklahoma. I just did a video on the Chargers. I'm drawing a bunch of name blanks today. But they drafted the guy out of Oklahoma in the first round 2 years ago. I'm drawing a blank on his name. Kenneth Murray. And he missed some games last year. Kazir White, stud player, big mistake that they let him walk. They're kind of going to replace him with Drew Tranquil, who was really kind of like their sub package type of guy. Not really a guy that, not really a guy you really want as your starter. So you lose a guy in Kazir White who was 8th in the NFL in tackles, a 3-down linebacker, an absolute stud, and then you're replacing him with 2 guys who missed a lot of injuries. So Roquan Smith to the Chargers actually does make a lot of sense. And it is something that they would do. They also signed, I forgot about this before I logged into ESPN. They also got Kyle Van Noy, who's going to play quite a bit. And he does some different things. But if you did this, yeah, it actually kind of makes sense. The only problem is that because you're giving Mac a lot of money, you're giving J.C. Jackson a lot of money, you're paying both your receivers a lot of money, and you're also amping up to give Justin Herbert a lot of money as well, and he's going to ask for a lot. He's like they're gushing over Herbert, so Herbert's going to get a boatload of money. Herbert, when he signs that new deal, is going to probably get over $70 million a year. I'm not exaggerating when I say 70. He's probably going to get that. Like, they are just wow. But I don't think you can make it work salary cap wise if you're LA. But you're right though. You know, seriously, it does make sense. And for both LA teams, I actually didn't think about that. I think Seattle's number one. I really do. I think that's clear cut number one. It makes sense for me in Houston, knowing the Lovie Smith defense. And then I was like, man, God, that just makes a lot of sense in Detroit. I mean, you transform things in Detroit big time with a guy like this. So a division rival, disgruntled payer, I'm not overpaying. You have to understand, like, I don't know if I'd call him disgruntled. He just wants what he considers to be market value. Shaquille Leonard, Darius Leonard signed a 5-year, $90 million deal. And he's wanting basically the same thing. And there's a precedent. Hey, did I get him? I got him. I got that fly fucker. So there's a precedent in play. Look at his play on the field. It's just been lights out. And I mean, I wish I could. I know I can't convince you that this makes sense, but I just see Roquan Smith on the Lions making that a wild card team. it just makes, I mean, to me, it's 2 + 2 = 4. And here's how you fix Sewell. You sign Fisher. I even got the player. There's no drop off in the offensive line. I mean, if it is, it's a slight drop off. You got a guy who was a Pro Bowl left tackle. You put him on the right side for a year. You sign a right tackle, not a premier position. Left tackle is a premier position. To me, it just makes all the sense in the world. I fully, understand it doesn't to you, but I mean, God, if I was a Lions fan, if I have a choice, because the team you have right now is not going to the playoffs. With Roquan Smith, you get a chance to go to the playoffs. To me, that's very appealing. But plus, nothing about this regime says they would overpay. I'm not sure it's an overpay, but I don't think it's exactly fair. I mean, I think fair would be like a third or a fourth, but when you're competing, you might have to overpay. And by the way, let's say you give up a second round pick. Now, if it's a high second round pick, like somewhere in the 40s, then it's not, then it's a good draft pick. But let's say it's in the 50s or God, when if it's in the 60s, that's not that much. And I mean, you got to understand something like this guy transforms your defense completely. I mean, your front seven, which is a glaring weakness, becomes a big strength. I'm looking at the Lions. Let me just do this here, okay? Let me just do this here because I've been getting names wrong all day. Again, I don't vouch. I don't hold ESPN's depth chart and is the be all end all, because they have your defense as a 4-3. So here's how ESPN has it. Okora, McNeil, Brockers, Hutchinson is your defensive line. Okay. Okora and Hutchinson are your outside linebackers, right? All right. And then, there'll be defensive linemen in your, scheme. And then you're going to have 2 linebackers, right? And then you're going to play a nickel package, right? Is that fair? Did I have it right so far? All right. So your linebacker, according to ESPN, is either Barnes or I want to call him anal zone. You know what I'm talking about. Also, Lions fans, how is Barnes doing? Because you guys gushed over him last year. But anyway, whoever, Rodriguez, Barnes, whatever. Put Smith in there. Hutchinson. All right? Okoro on the other side. You get McNeil, Brockers, McNeil's, Levi O. That front seven's scary. That's fun, man. I mean, yeah. Maybe if it was Quinn. Yeah, good point. If I was a Lions fan, I wouldn't care if they're a wild card team. That would be back when they had Elvis or Steve Bono. No, you got a good point. The thing is, though, is with both those quarterbacks, we legitimately had a Super Bowl caliber team. Neither one of those guys really got it done, which is a shame. Most Chiefs fans think that Gannon will let us to Super Bowl. I'm not so sure. But it's not really the same thing. But I'd want my quarterback to, okay. It seems like what the Lions are going to do is they have 2 first-round draft picks in 2023. God, my nose is itching. It's not cocaine. Anyway, so what you're doing is in 2023 is that there's a lot of good quarterbacks in the draft, and it looks like the Lions have been kind of figuring this out. General managers usually try to go 2-3 years in advance, not just one. So they've been kind of eyeballing the 2023 draft. Hey, we're gonna have 2 first-round draft picks, and we're gonna have golf for 2 years. And it's kind of been lining up that they're going to take a quarterback in 2023. So that is the plan. Now, if golf pans out and he ends up being the guy, then great. We have all this draft capital we can use to just build around him. But If Goff's not the guy, that's the plan to get your quarterback next year. So you get your quarterback next year. When if your front seven's already solidified and you have some really good young players in that secondary, I can't vouch for the guy that they got from Baltimore, the strong safety. Again, another name freeze. But God, my nose is really itching. But is that guy the long-term solution of strong safety? Maybe, maybe not. But now I got a defense that I can build around where before I don't have that. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. Tackle position on both sides of the premium because teams have two passers. And I think you mean pass rushers. No. Left tackle's premium, right tackle's expendable. It's always been that way. And it always will be that way. Even if, you know what, the only exception is if you get lefty. And I don't think that there's a left-handed. I don't know off the top of my head if any of these quarterbacks are left tackles. So anyway, it's not true. Blau fumbled. Cut Blau. Oh God, you're just telling me he looked good, so he had a bad play. By the way, like later on tonight, I am going to watch this game. Really excited about it. Maui bro, Kaioi. I hope I got that right. I saw you in the comments on Key's show, so I'm really glad you had joined me here tonight, man. Me and Keys are going to have a awesome night. We're actually making the video tomorrow. I think it's coming out Sunday, but we're going to do some Chiefs stuff. So if you're a Chiefs fan, check out me and Keys video. It's going to be really good. Man, he doing all right. Emrod is our best. God, a 6th-round pick. I really. I watched a lot of him at Oklahoma State, and I want to be very clear. I really like this guy. I did not think this is an NFL starter. But you give me something to watch. So, Jesus, they say when your nose itches, Charlie Sheen. I disagree with that. Mitch Schwartz and the Chiefs showed otherwise. I'm drawing a blank here. Okay, so let me see if okay, both sides are total. Okay, all right. The answer is no, and let me tell you why. They paid Mitchell Schwartz half of what they paid Eric Fisher, and Schwartz was a All-Pro first-team right tackle. And I mean, he went to one Pro Bowl. I think it was the year the Chiefs won the Super Bowl. But I mean, he was the number 1 pick in the draft. But he made twice as much, and he wasn't a Pro Bowl tackle where Schwartz was going to Pro Bowls, listed All Pro, and he was making half. He was making half of what Eric Fisher was making. I just proved it. I just proved it. So you guys are both wrong. No, left tackle is premier, right tackle is not. And I just proved it because Eric Fisher made twice as much as Eric Schwartz. Eric Schwartz was an All-Pro right tackle. Eric Fisher was I'd say top 10, but kind of the middle of the pack left tackle. Literally twice as much. I'm not exaggerating by it. It might even be more. If Schwartz signed it was like a 5-year, $30 or $33 million deal, and Eric Fisher was making over $12 million. 12 and 6. Left side was 12, right side was 6. I don't care how much you like Penei Sewell. This isn't a premier tackle because if he was, he'd be on the left side, not the right side. He'd be protecting the blind side. It wouldn't surprise me if they move him from the right side to the left side. And by the way, if that's the plan, and I don't know if the Lions are planning on doing that, but if that is the plan, then the trade that I'm talking about, throw it in the trash can. But if he's on the right side, then move on, replace him with Fisher. I mean, and draft the guy. I mean, that's what you do. But I get it. I mean, I kind of want to be mean here because I'm it's funny because I'm saying stuff that's just logical and it's making sense. And It's like 1 + 1 = 2, and you guys are like, no, it's 5, and that's okay. That's okay. In this channel, you can always disagree with me. I never want this to be an echo chamber. I don't want it to be a YouTube channel. Everybody has to agree with me, and everybody has to think the same thing I do, because I want to hear differences of opinion. Denver Gator had this brilliant thing about the Chargers and the Rams, and I didn't consider either one of those teams as a spot for a spot for Roquan Smith. Now I'm sitting here and I'm like, yeah, this makes a lot of sense. So Eric Fisher was the #1 overall pick, would affect every negotiation moving forward, simply because you do have a good point there. But the Chiefs didn't give him when they signed him to his extension. They gave him, at the time, it was top 10 or top 5 money, but he still made twice. I mean, you're kind of proving my point here, is that he made twice as much as Schwartz. So, I mean, the way the offense is set up, the way I understand it, even though he's a lefty, yes. And also, I mean, are we really counting the Dolphins as a good organizational team? Like, is this the team that, like, hey, let's follow the Dolphins? I mean, if you're watching the Dolphins and you're like, that's the team I want to follow, I go, okay, all right. I like to see Roquan sign with the Lions. I teams trading in the division is rare. That's why I think the Bears would want a player. And if I'm the Bears, I would target Sewell. Would they want like a #1 and a #2 and some draft picks? Maybe. I mean, I just I have a hard time believing that the Bears and the Lions would make a trade for Smith without a player in return. It could happen. I mean, but if it did, you would have to give a lot of trade capital. Where if I'm the Lions, I wouldn't want to give up one of my #1 picks. So, and also, I mean, I don't think ESPN has it right, but I think Tevin Jenkins, and I'll have to look into this, but I think Tevin Jenkins is supposedly a starter on the left side. If you sign Sewell, would you be able to move him over to the left side? But if Malcolm Rodriguez is your best linebacker, then I would definitely make a move for make a move for Roquan Smith. Again, this is something that kind of makes sense to me, but I think going to the Texans makes more sense, and I think it's much, much more likely to go to the Seahawks. And Denver Gator nailed it. I think both the Rams and Chargers also now looking back in hindsight make a lot more sense, more accurate. Yeah, let me just okay. I'm going to rant about this just for a little bit. When you are in practice, it's one thing, but when you're in a game, it's another. And this is just honestly my opinion, is that it's not a true statement that Tyreek Hill said, because they never played in a game together. But there's Dolphins fans that really believe this, man. Pete and Mike haven't been on for a while, but they're Dolphins fans. I love to hear. I know Pete's been making fun of people that have been saying this. He's there in the Miami area or Florida, and he's been making fun of Dolphins fans that believe this. And there's a lot of them. But they never played in a game together, so of course it's not a true statement. But yeah, it's comical. It's comical. James comes in kicking of the Hornets' nest. This is the discussion for the whole show. Good to see you, Jimmy. Oh God, man. I'm gonna tell you something. Maui, I get a lot of love from the Lions fan. I was on a guy by the name of Luke G. I was on his show, and I got some Lions. Lions fans are fantastic fans. They are super fantastic sports fans. They're great sports fans. So yeah. But it's been tough, man. It's been tough. So now Denver came in. I mean, you know what? I'm kind of on board with the Rams. I don't know if you could do it with the Chargers, but the Rams makes a lot of sense now. I mean, seriously, they would overpay in draft capital. They don't care. But they do have to give up their number one. So Saints had Tron Armstead at left tackle, still signed Ryan Ramczyk to a 5-year, $96 million deals. The Bucks have Tristan Wirth at right tackle. Chiefs had Fisher and Schwartz. Cowboys had Smith and Collins. You're kind of still proving my point here that right tackle is not a premier position. As far as the 5-year, $96 million deal for Ramczyk, he's still on the right side. And then keep in mind they signed him that because they're moving on from Armstead, and Ramczyk's a good or good right tackle. It's still not premier position. Tristan Wirth, he was a rookie. They did sign Schwartz on that 5-year, $30 million deal. Again, they were paying Eric Fisher twice as much. Leo Collins was a free agent. Now, for those of you who don't remember, Leo Collins was going to be a first-round draft pick. He was right before the draft. He was right before the draft. He was investigated. The police brought him in for a murder investigation. He was not a suspect, but they interviewed him, and every NFL team just took him off the board. So he went from being a first-round pick to an undrafted player. So the Cowboys picked him up, and he played guard, and they kicked him out to right tackle. Now, he played left tackle at LSU and was probably going to play either left or right tackle in the NFL, but the Cowboys had a spot for him at guard. Then they kicked him out to right tackle. He signed, I don't know the contract numbers, but he signed with Cincinnati this offseason. But again, right tackle is not a premier position. Left tackle is. They show you need 2 good tackles. Good. I said premier. You said premier. Right tackle is not a premier position. Right? Left tackle is a premier position. And even if you are paying a right tackle a lot of money, it doesn't mean it's a premier position. Now, to be honest, off-ball linebacker isn't a premier position either. There's 3 really premier positions. All right. Quarterback, left tackle, edge rusher. It used to be corner. Now it's kind of switched to edge rusher, whether it's an outside linebacker or a defensive end. I think I'm going to say about when was like Revis Island? Like I think at that point it was like corner was more valued than edge rusher. Now I think it's more edge rusher than corner, and it's been that way for a while. But right tackle is not a premier position. It's just not. I don't know what to tell you. This is just a factual statement that I'm telling you. But is it important to have a good right tackle? Yes. But great passing offenses aren't ignoring the right position nor filling it with an inferior talent. No, you got a good point. But when I said Eric Fisher, that's not a drop off. I mean, this is a guy. Here's the thing. When you have left tackles in the NFL, they hit year 32, 33, 34. We've been seeing this is that teams are signing them to play right tackle. It doesn't mean that they can't play at a high level. It just means that when your talent starts to erode, you can move over to the right side. It's not a premier position. I disagree. You're really going to tell me right tackle is a premier position? All right. Yeah, I think we're all operating on different. Okay, let me just lay it down. 3 premier positions in the NFL: quarterback, left tackle, edge rusher. That's it. This is a binary factual statement. This is a fact. This is not up for debate. These are the 3 elite positions. These are the 3 positions that you need to get to a Super Bowl. You have to have your quarterback. You have to have somebody protect his blind side. You got to be able to get after the quarterback. That's it. And everything else, it's different things. Like, I consider Travis Kelce a big receiver. All right. That's kind of an important position in Kansas City, right? They also did sign, Juju Smith-Schuster. They drafted a wide receiver, but guys that catch the ball, that's an important position. All right. It's an important position. It's not a premier position, though. I mean, Travis Kelce, when everything's said and done, is going to end up in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. It's still not a premier position. Devontae Adams, Darren Waller, they're not premier positions. Edge rusher, left tackle, quarterback, those are premier positions. However you want to define them is up to you. But these three things are necessary to win a Super Bowl. Every NFL team looks at it this way. Every NFL team looks at it in this order: quarterback, left tackle, edge rusher. It used to be corner. To say that right tackle, even though you want to say right tackle is important, yeah, it's important. So is center, so is guard, so is receiver, so is tight end, so is running back. It's not premier. Even as a Broncos fan, Tua can't hold a No. Hill got paid a lot of money to make stupid statements like that. But yeah, and here's the deal. I don't have a problem with Hill pumping up his guy, and I don't have a problem with Tyreek Hill just saying stupid things. But if you're a Dolphins fan and you're like, oh yeah, Tua's more accurate quarterback than Mahomes, when they haven't even played a live game together, it's just silly. It's just silly. That's all. Yeah, and I don't have a problem with Tyreek Hill. A lot of Chiefs fans took exception with Tyreek Hill, and I don't at all. I mean, here's a guy. He's going home. He's from Miami. I didn't know that until after he was already gone. He's going home. He wants to build up his team. He's trying. He mentioned him and Jalen Waddle is the fastest duo in NFL history. He might be right. Still kind of crazy to say, but he might be right. He might be right. And I don't have a problem with these statements. Chiefs fans shouldn't have a problem. And if you're a Miami fan and you're trying this hard to make Tua look good, it's like, but yeah. Just shed some light on position value. Just look at positions taking the top 5 every year corner. 10, 15 years ago, I can't remember when Revis Island. That was like the last time I thought. It used to be corner. Was like that elite position on defense. And by the way, these things are subject to change. I mean, these things change around. But right now, quarterback, left tackle, edge rusher. And that's what NFL teams are really looking at. Mahomes just drew a left-handed practice. For those of you who don't know, Mahomes was joking around and like threw was it the behind the back one that hit the goalpost? He was trying to hit the goalpost from like the 20 or 25 and threw one like left-handed behind the back. So, yeah. Shout out to most premier. Oh, you're a Broncos fan. I'll take interior defensive line over edge rusher any day of the week. Okay, that's fair. In the Chiefs defense, Chris Jones is the best player on the defense. Don't tell Big Chief Sean that. He does not like Chris Jones for whatever reason. Quarterbacks getting the ball under out. That's not a true statement. The 2.5 is okay. Number one, the 2.5 is not true. And negating edge rusher is also not true. So as much as I love you and I'm looking forward to tomorrow, that's just not a true statement. No, he threw the one behind the back. Okay, I didn't see the one left-handed. I saw the one behind the back, but I didn't see the one left-handed. So I'll have to check. I'll look for it. I think we follow a lot of the same stuff on Twitter. So it's kind of funny because certain people I follow on Twitter, some I follow on Facebook, and then some I follow on Instagram. So. Not a Broncos fan. Just love roasting the corniest dude ever. Yeah, there's a lot of people that feel that. That's why. One of the things I love about you, Keys, is that we'll agree to disagree, but this is edge rusher. Edge rusher is always going to be more important than interior. That's just a fact. But I always want people on my show that disagree, and I think one of the great things about me and you, and I hope we can do a lot of stuff together, is that we see things differently. But this is like the 2.5 is not true. And then negating edge rusher, that's never going to be true. It's never going to be true. TJ Watt, 22 and a half sacks. So. But I thought he was. He's not a Broncos fan, so let's figure it out. Amazement, what's up, brother? Dan, when you preview, I'm going in draft order. I'm going to wrap up here in just a few minutes. I'm going to watch some preseason football. I'm jacked up for it. I meant to do this at the beginning. It is true. No, it's not. It's just not. It's under 2.5. No, it's this is not. You're just saying stuff that's just not true right now. Then you look at Brady. Okay, so there was a stat that Brady got rid of the ball in 2.4 seconds. All right, he's the only one. So interior pressure much as that. Okay, that could be true, but Brady's the only one who does under 2.5. So I'll preview the. Okay. Oh, okay. Let me just do this real fast here because I'm going to wrap this up. I'm starting off Monday. I'm going to do the Patriots. I'm going in draft order. So here's how it's going to go. Monday, Patriots, Raiders Tuesday, Cardinals Wednesday, Cowboys Thursday. And I'm really excited about this one, Buffalo Friday. But Tampa Bay will be next week. It'll go the following week. It'll go Tennessee, Tampa Bay, Green Bay, San Francisco, and then I get to do it on a Friday. I didn't plan it this way, but Friday gets to be Kansas City. Skeletor gets bailed out constantly by refs all season. But no. By the way, Amazement, if you follow me on social media, make sure you do. All my social media links should be posted below. So Skeletor. It's kind of funny because me and Keys were talking about this, that Chiefs fans are having a real hard time dealing with being the favorite. Patrick Mahomes being the face of the NFL. One thing I've noticed last year that Mahomes did smartly was anytime somebody touches him, he looks for the nearest ref and like, what the hell? And that's something Brady does. That's something Manning did. And I remember a game against the Bengals. I don't remember if it was a championship game or the regular season. I remember Burrow got hit, and I looked at that play, and I was like, if that was Mahomes, that's a 15-yard penalty. Because the refs are favoring, the Kansas City Chiefs, and they're giving Mahomes the breaks that Brady got throughout the years, that Manning got through the years, and now Mahomes gets those breaks, and Chiefs fans are really having a hard time dealing with the fact that we're not the underdog, that we're the favorite, and that we're getting the calls now. And it's I think it's really cool, but lots of Chiefs fans are really struggling with that. What's up, Denver? Okay, I'll look forward to that. Dan's fan. All right, that's awesome to hear. Did you check? Okay, I haven't checked out Hard Knocks. I have something called Plex, and the Hard Knocks episodes go over to Plex randomly, so I don't have control over it. I might have to pay. Are you serious, Dan? Mahomes does not get those calls. Absolutely not true. Okay. I'm gonna have to get hard here, Keys. Here's the deal. This right here is called a fanboy statement. You are a fanboy right now. This isn't a logical statement. This isn't a factual statement. This is a fanboy statement. Mahomes does get the calls. Mahomes is the face of the NFL. Mahomes, what he started to do this year is he turned around to the ref. Anytime he gets touched, raises his hands up in the air, and he's been coached to do that. It's a smart thing to do. And this is the problem with Chiefs fans is they're saying things like this, which are simply not true. These are fanboy statements. This is like I might not be able to do a show with you. This what I'm telling you is a fact. This is not even true. Mahomes gets beat like Big Ben after. I don't know what to tell you, Chiefs fans. That's one thing that the Chiefs have really Chiefs fans are really having a problem with. I love having you on here, Keys, and I love the fact that we can disagree, but this is just not a true statement. This is not even close. This is a fanboy statement. This is a statement that fans of Chiefs are saying that it's not a true statement. That's all. Keys. I don't know what to tell you guys, man. I don't know what to tell you. I really don't know what to say here. But one thing about Chiefs fans is that they're really having problems admitting that they're the face of the NFL. Patrick Mahomes is the face of the NFL. Watch any NFL show or ESPN, and every 30 minutes, you see a Patrick Mahomes commercial, and Chiefs fans are really having a problem dealing with that. They want to be the underdog, and that's just not the case. Patrick Mahomes gets the calls now that used to go to Brady, that used to go to Manning. I love it. I think it's great. And that's something I think more Chiefs fans should really learn to embrace. 4 straight AFC championship games at home. This is the golden era, and embrace it. Love it. Love it. Love that Mahomes will get calls that other quarterbacks don't, and just enjoy it. But anyway. I'm going to wrap this up. I have a lot of preseason football. Exactly. And that's the one thing. I never want this to be a Chiefs channel. This is never going to be a Chiefs channel. This is going to be a 32 team channel, and I want fans from all 32 fan bases to come on here. Now, keep in mind, I've been a Chiefs season ticket holder since 1989, so I am a big time Chiefs fan. But I try to keep things objective with the Kansas City Chiefs. But yeah, I've had to unfollow a lot of people on social media because the fanboy statements. If you have a fanboy statement, I've been hitting people hard. Like there was a Chargers fan who said, "I think they're going to go 12-5," and I said, "Hey, are you going to bet on that?" "Oh, I'm not betting on it." Well, the over under I think was 10.5. So if you're going to do 12, then if the over under is 10.5 and you think it's 12, but you're not betting on over 10.5, are you really there? Are you really there? And I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know, Denver Gator. One thing. Okay, so I went on Key's show, Back Talk Brothers, and I still recommend it. I still like it, but during the show we had a head coach quarterback argument, and a lot. He was saying things, and I wasn't sure if he was just trying to argue, if you're serious. I don't know, but yes. Well, one thing I want to give the NFL a ton of credit because they went from 4 preseason games to 3, and I know like the last 2 weeks of preseason are like pulling hair out. I'm just like, let's go. And I really like the NFL shortening it down to 3. Now, keep in mind they did this because they extended the season from 16 to 17. But yeah. But I have to admit I always like preseason because you get to see new players. There's usually a surprise that comes out of nowhere, but yeah. But I have to admit, I do like preseason. I'm looking forward. Like I said, as soon as I end the show, which I'm going to wrap up here in just a few minutes, I'm going to watch some Lions, Falcons, and I have a lot of preseason I want to watch. I just signed up for YouTube TV, so I have a lot of preseason I'm going to go over. So come on, I should have bet that. Can't wait to make some cash. Listen, man, if you watch my videos, I'm giving out some great betting advice here. It's free of charge. I'm going to make some money betting on football this year, and I've given out some really, really great tips. But if you're a Chargers fan and you think that they're a 12-win team, I think it's 10.5. I could be wrong, but you're not betting on 10.5. You really don't believe 12. You really don't believe 12. You just don't. I always thought it should be 3, 4, so unnecessary, especially when you know who's probably. Yeah. I think it was Mark Sheriff. Used to play for Washington and spent most of his career in Denver. Most famously had like 27 knee surgeries. He said that you can usually tell who's going to make the team after 2 practices. That's what he said. He said like usually it's 2 practices, and I could do the 53. And I think the NFL did an A+ job jumping from 4 to 3. I think the plan is to try to go from 3 to 2 and just try to shorten that number. But I don't know what will happen. I really don't know. So, Maui bro, Kaioi. Hopefully I got the name right, man. Thank you so much, man. Always great show, Dan. Look, hey, man, every Friday, there's a good chance I'm going to come on Wednesdays during the season. It's still up in the air. I haven't heard from Keys in a little bit. I hope he's still there. I'm hoping to get Corey, aka the Red Sea, Keys, and have a discussion on Wednesday regarding Week 1. Chiefs play the Cardinals, and then I'm also going to try to reach out to Alex and see if he wants to get on board with trying to on the show and try to talk about the Patriots. So I have to mention the power moves of the Broncos owners mispronouncing good. Oh, wow. Well, to tell you the truth, it's going to be kind of interesting to see what happens over the next couple of years, because the Denver Broncos organization is one of the best organizations of sports under Pat Bowlen, and why it took so long to get him in the Hall of Fame is just an absolute tragedy. It's just terrible. But moving on from Bowlen to a business group, it's going to be interesting to see how it works out. So we'll have to pay attention. But I was not aware of that, Denver Gators. I'm glad you brought that up. 2 is cool, but I have to say, have a team scrimmage, you two, and lots of teams are doing that. Lots of teams have joint practices. Denver and Dallas are having joint practices. I don't think Kansas City is this year, but in the past they've had joint practices. I like when NFL teams do that. I think it's really smart. A lot of teams do that. Not every team. Now, keep in mind, the Cowboys, for some reason, I think they hold like I might be talking out of my ass here, but I know they used to like do training camp somewhere in California. I think now they do it in Texas. I could be wrong about that, but there was a reason why they scrimmage with different teams on the West Coast. I think last year they scrimmaged with the Chargers. I could be wrong about that, and I wasn't aware that they're scrimmaging with Denver. But that is cool, and I think it's a good move. So, listen, on that case, I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to watch some preseason football. Listen, give me a thumbs up. Drop a comment below. Please. It would really help me with the algorithm. It would mean a lot to me. But listen, next Friday, I'm going to be on. I'm going to watch some preseason football. Check out my videos. Listen, when I break down the schedule, that is some A+ stuff. You really don't want to miss that. So anyway, I'll see you back next Friday.